to make new kinds of relationships. And let me just read you one little line that the Chinese spokesman, foreign ministry spokesman, whose name is Guo Jiakun, who said yesterday in his statement, when asked by the Indian reporters in Beijing, how does China assess this summit? He said, China stands ready to work with India to view and handle the bilateral relationship from a strategic height and a long-term perspective. I'm glad he said strategic height, because satellite definition of the contested border in the Himalayas, if the two sides could agree on satellite definition of the line, that would considerably reduce the friction, the potential conflict between the forces aligned on both sides. And Indian sources have told me it would be very advantageous if, for practical advancement of the relationship, China and India could agree on a satellite-defined, GPS-defined borderline and reduce the scope for friction and conflict as there was back in 2020. And the other line that Chinese have just taken, just yesterday, several days after the summit meeting, is they stress the long-term perspective. And that brings us back to where you asked the question. What's the long-term after President Trump goes? Isn't there a long-term fundamental multipolar combination, Russia, India, and China, that would challenge the Trumpian view, which was expressed in the national security document that was issued a couple of days ago also?
John, do you think that Russia still tries to somehow mediate between India and China? How do you see in that direction? How important is that? Because as time goes by, you've mentioned the relationship amongst these three important, in my opinion. India is growing to be a superpower. But how is that possible without getting closer to Russia and China? Is that the agenda on the part of Indians to be closer to these two to Russia? They're pretty close to Russia, but how about China?
Well, Indian opinion is very complicated. It's multiplied. It's often expressed. It's a much more openly expressed debating society than one will find in China.